Alright, so this past weekend was actually Pokemon Worlds, which was featured in Hawaii, and along with the actual competition itself, there were a lot of really cool videos and advertisements and just in general things that dropped during the convention, the tournament, whatever you want to call it, that I think are pretty notable and newsworthy to cover, especially for the TCG. So one of them, as I have this video open in front of me, is called the Trainers Pokemon Return to Pokemon TCG Official Pokemon Worlds Reveal. This is exactly as it sounds. It's a beautifully well put together animation, little advertisement, whatever you really want to call it, just kind of teasing the return of a trainer's Pokemon sort of aesthetic to the Pokemon TCG. So as we've had it before, I think namely in the Diamond and Pearl era, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, etc., was like Blaine's Moltres, right? Erica's Venusaur, whatever you want to call it. That kind of style is essentially teased to be returned for the TCG. Now, we're going to watch bits and clips of the video because it is very well put together. I do recommend you watch it yourself, even though it was only 2 minutes and 18 seconds long. So let's take a look. So immediately, as you can tell, the overall aesthetic and art style is very similar to that of which we see in the anime. Pretty straightforward, nothing to really gauge off of initially. If you were to just see this as the reveal without knowing exactly what it was, you'd assume that maybe this is a new section of the anime coming out, or maybe a new game or something being teased, right? But as it continues, you slowly get to see what the actual reveal is. So that is pretty much most of the lead up to what we see here is essentially the return of Trainers Pokemon. So in this specific example, we have Lily's Clefairy EX. Now, this card in general doesn't look too unique to what we've already seen, other than the fact that Lily is in front of it, in front of the name, and then we have Lily's picture in the bottom right corner of the actual artwork itself. Now, is this going to be kind of in the same vein as we've seen with the Stellar Pokemon, where say you have a Stellar EX card and it's kind of the same aesthetic and same idea as a regular EX card, yet it's just styled a little bit differently? Maybe the pull rates aren't as difficult still, right? I mean, from what we're seeing here, this is a double rare, so it shouldn't be too difficult to pull this card. What will the values be like? What will the prices, the pull rates? It's a little tough to tell. It's still early, right? So then up next, we see this example of Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. Again, it's another double rare, so we're not really sure what the pull rates, what the overall value, the rarity is going to be like when it comes to pulling or just getting these cards in general. But I will say Pokemon did a great choice. They made some great choices at picking which trainers to reveal, right? I mean, you have Lily, which is a massive waifu pull from the Sun and Moon era. Then you have Marnie, which is also a massive fan favorite. So definitely going to be a lot of collectability with, say, certain trainers over others. If I had to guess, I mean, the Pokemon might matter too. I would bet Lily's Clefairy EX and Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX might have a better pull rate over, say, something like a Hop card or like a Howl card. I don't know. Something that's just my thinking. I'm not entirely sure if that would be the case, but yeah, that's just where my mind goes to immediately. Alright, and then for a third example, we see N's Zoroark EX, which I think N is a relatively popular trainer as well. So definitely a great choice in picking him as one of the trainers to feature for these cards. Zoroark is relatively popular, I would say, too, as a Pokemon. It's definitely more popular than others, but maybe not quite as popular as some. But again, kind of in the same vein where as long as Pokemon picks the trainers that the people like, I think those cards will be more enjoyed, more desired, more collected upon. And we also get to see that the trainer's Pokemon goes beyond the EX form. We have here an Ends Reshiram, which is likely just going to be a holographic. This is what I really like. I really like this. The holographics, right? The plain ones are still likely to not have much value, but if we can get the Fuad Ends Reshiram or Misty's Golduck, right? I don't know, it's just an example. Brock's Onyx as holographics, just scattered in slightly, not the main focus of it, but there's a few of those within each set, right? Well, more than a few, obviously, but if they're harder to get than, say, the average holographic, then I think that could be excellent because that adds an extra tier to the holographic cards, right? It's essentially as if we're going back to the Sword and Shield era where the rare card doesn't really have a lot of value, but the holographic, if you're to pull a regular holographic, obviously those weren't highly coveted or very much appreciated, right, in terms of value, but then this could elevate the game of the regular holographics are simply just what you get, and then if you're lucky, you'll get Ends Reshiram or Blaine's Arcanine, right? I don't know, just an example. But I think that would be really cool if that's what they did. And then probably one of the coolest parts that Pokemon featured in this video is the fact that we're getting illustration rares in the form of trainers Pokemon. So this one is Ends Reshiram, which I guess completes the trifecta for what we've seen, but it is such a beautiful card. It is amazing artwork. Now, is it really much different from, say, the trainer gallery that we've seen throughout, say, the Sword and Shield era, where it did feature a trainer in their Pokemon, only this time it has the trainer's name in front of it. I don't think it changes too much from what we've seen in the past, other than we're adding a prefix to the Pokemon, so Ends Reshiram, or, I don't know, Lieutenant Surge's Magneton, right? I don't know, there's nothing super crazy just yet besides the artwork being fantastic, but we've already had some really great artwork in the form of illustration rares and SIRs throughout the Scarlet and Violet era anyways, right? So this to me doesn't change a whole lot, but it's definitely very interesting, and we'll see the way they take it. So then we get a title card that says 2025, showing that yes, these cards will be available next year, which at this point, next year is not too far away. It's just in a couple of months. So I wonder if we'll be seeing this as early as January of 2025. Then we see that it's the return of trainers cards, which is pretty obvious. And then the thing that has most people freaking out at the end is this. I would assume that this is obviously meant to tease the upcoming Team Rocket set that we've heard about for quite some time now. In case you're not familiar with it, it is widely believed, and I guess now confirmed, that there is going to be a Team Rocket set coming out in 2025, at first for Japanese and then obviously in English. It'll probably follow what we see with Team Rocket Returns and then Team Rocket from the WotC era. It'll probably follow in order with that in some way, with obviously Dark Pokemon, maybe Rocket's blank, right? We'll see. I'm not entirely sure what to expect. I don't know if anybody really is, but that pretty much concludes the video. So here are my thoughts on this. I think it's really cool. I think it's really nice that they're going to include trainer Pokemon again, and what I like the most is honestly the fact that they're doing it with the holographics, because like I said, if they do it right, they have a really great opportunity to make the holographics mean something again, right? Now you get a holographic in every pack, and it's not special at all. At least it's not to me. I don't know if it is to you. I don't know if it is to anybody, right? Nobody's excited to see holographics because that is the bare minimum. Now, if the tables have turned a little bit, and in most packs, say you get a regular holographic, but if you're lucky, you'll get Ends Reshiram in like one in every, I don't know, 20 packs or something. Like if it's a hard card to pull, if it's not so mainstream to pull, I think that adds a really cool element to, once again, collecting holographic cards. Now, as for EXs and illustration rares, I think that's fantastic too, but if the pull rates are pretty much the same as regular EXs, I don't know, I'm not going to be so crazy over Lily's Clefairy EX that has the same pull rate as probably, I don't know, a Terapagos that's going to come out in that set or something like that, right? I'd rather just pull, I don't know, any regular old EX. It's not that big of a deal to me personally. It is cool, don't get me wrong, and there are certain Pokemon whom I think will have a really great and desired kind of pull rate for them, right? If you get Gengar, Charizard, whatever the bigs, then for sure, right? but I think like Clefairy, Grimmsnarl, I don't know if it was really going crazy for that. And then finally, the illustration rares, and if we have SIRs, I think that'll be the biggest opportunity for Pokemon to do something crazy. It could be really amazing. I'd love to see how they do it. I don't know. We'll find out in 2025. I was really nervous that this news was regarding Pokemon TCG Pocket TCG, which I'm really excited and interested in checking out myself. But they've been posting a lot about it, and I was hoping that these would be real cards we get for the tangible TCG, and it seems like we are, so I don't think we have to worry about any of this just being for the digital Pokemon TCG Pocket app or whatever that I think is releasing in October 30th or something like that. But this is all stuff that we're getting in person, likely 2025, for the second and what will probably be final half of the Scarlet and Violet era, which is crazy to think about. What do you think of the return of trainers Pokemon to the TCG? I think it's fantastic. I'm really excited to see the direction they go. I'd love to know, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.